Singapore was one of Asian markets to start to roll out REITs, and as of Friday markets, the Straits Times Index increased more than 2.5% in the beginning of this year. In comparison, MSCI Asian ex-Japan Index has grown more than 6% in the same period. The Southeast Asian nations' economy contracted 3.3% on quarter in from April to June, with some warning that a recession may be around the corner. Last month, Singapore government slashed into 2019 official growth forecast to between 0% and 1%, from between 1.5% and 2.5% previously. And as a result, that give investor buying opportunities to tap into the growth of Southeast Asia as well as the wider Asia continent.
Next, a market review of 2nd September. Based on the Straits Times, Singapore share opened lower on Monday, September 16 as an oil spike. Singapore share start lower as an oil price surge as a Saudi Arabian oil facility removed about 5% of a global supply. This Monday, loser just edged gainer 62 to 61. In the US, stocks swung to a split finish on the last Friday, closing little change as investors hope for a letup in the US-China trade war. However, Singapore share inched slightly higher on a Friday, September 20, through on a reduced volume following lackluster session for US share. Gainer outnumber loser of 51 to 35. So that's all for market view of this week.
Market review in week 3. Landless launches 1 billion real estate investment trust on Singapore Exchange. Property giant Landless has launched a 1 billion real estate investment trust that will list on Singapore Exchange with 13 cornerstone investors already committing 400 million Singapore dollars towards the initial public offering. The cornerstone investor group which were part of the preliminary prospectus include BlackRock, AEW Asia, and Lion Global Investors. Tony Lombardo, Landless Chief Executive Asia, said the REIT will have the ability to invest in retail and office assets around the world including East Australia. So, by this investment, it can give an impact to their country, which is Singapore, and it also can give a good effect on Singapore Stock Exchange. Lastly, it also can make Singapore grow year by year through their project. That's all from me. Thank you.
Fourth week of market review. Singapore shares sink and on trade recession fears. Singapore shares continue to take a beating as trading resumed on Thursday afternoon, October 3rd, after the United States opened a new trade war front with Europe and lackluster US jobs data exacerbated recession fears. Golden Agri-Resources remained the most traded security on Thursday, flat 22 cents after 21.5 million shares changed hands. Yanzi Gem Shipbuilding slipped 1.5 cents or 1.6% to $0.925 after 18.1 million shares were traded. Taipei shed 0.8%, while Manila and Jakarta were both off 0.9%. That is all the market review that was affected by the US new trade war in the Asian country.
Dollars is set to weaken because the central bank is likely to scrap its appreciation bias at a policy meeting next week, according to a growing group of forecasters. Mizuho Bank Limited and Societe Generale SA are defying consensus by predicting the Monetary Authority of Singapore will adjust the slope of its nominal effective exchange rate policy bond 20 from 1% to counter slowing economic growth. Although Singapore's dollar has already fallen 1.4% this year against that US currency, it is almost unchanged on a nominal effective basis. Singapore's heavy reliance to trade makes the nation a bellwether for growth sentiment in Asia, along with nations such as South Korea and Taiwan. The must guides the local currency against an unendorsed basket and adjust the pace of appreciation or depreciation by changing the slope, width, and center of a bond. While Mizuho and Societe Generale both predict an end to the MAS appreciation bias. The majority of other economy anticipated it will just reduce the slope of 0.5%. There have been growing signs in recent months that the US-China trade will also give the biggest impact for the Singapore's economy.
In conclusion, we can say that the Singapore Stock Exchange is increased since the beginning of 2019. At that stage, it is a buying call because the equity market is to open higher on Monday tracking future on the Singapore Stock Exchange and mix ASEAN Q. In the middle of September, Singapore Stock Exchange has fallen a little due to some factors that affect it. Early of October, it's begin to face a downturn. The Singapore Stock Exchange has suffered damage of being affected by the US new trade war. That's all. Thank you.